The Great Explorer by Chris Judge. Tom's dad was a famous explorer. I've got some pictures of him here. Maybe he's climbed some mountains and he might have been through the forest. One morning when Tom went down to breakfast, there's a newspaper on the mat. The news: famous explorer is lost in the North Pole. He was shocked to see a picture of his dad on the front of the morning paper. His dad had got lost while exploring the North Pole. Tom resolved there and then to go and rescue him. First, he studied his globe of the world and found the North Pole. Then he bought a map so he could find his way there. He packed his bag and set off on his adventure. Shall we see what he had in his bag? Saucepan, sleeping bag, fishing rod, food, cup, tent, compass, flares, matches, pick, torch and binoculars. Casting off, he set sail out into the big blue ocean. After sailing for many weeks, Tom knew he was close to the North Pole when gigantic icebergs appeared on the horizon. As he sailed, he saw lots of beautiful shapes in the ice. It was the most magical place he had ever seen. But soon the ice got thicker and thicker until eventually the boat ran aground the ice. Oh dear, what's he going to do? Fortunately, Tom had a hot air balloon on board. He pumped it full of hot air and soon it was ready to take off. He unhitched the rope and up it went. As night fell, the spectacular northern lights lit up the sky. Tom was amazed. But the balloon sailed too high and was hit by a passing satellite. Pop! Uh-oh. The balloon plummeted downwards. Plummeted means to fall really quickly. Ah! Tom screamed with fright. Luckily, he had, what might he have with him to help him? A parachute with him. Quickly, he put it on and jumped out. Phew! That was a close shave, he thought, as the balloon crashed to the ground. But just at that moment, he landed on top of a very dangerous cliff. Undaunted, he sat on his coil of rope and slid, whee, all the way down. That looks fun, doesn't it? But just as he reached the bottom, he skidded into... What do you think he's going to skid into? Uh-oh, a giant walrus. Tom ran away as fast as he could until he reached a dangerous river of broken ice. So he jumped, hopped, skipped, bounded and leapt across the ice until he was safely on the other side. As Tom continued his journey, it started to snow heavily. The blizzard grew wilder still, so he decided to pitch his tent. But the wind was too strong and his tent blew away. What's he going to do now? Fortunately, he spotted a small cave. He crept inside and was just settling down to have a rest when... Oh no, a giant polar bear leapt out. Tom ran away as fast as he could. It was getting dark, so he decided to build an igloo to shelter in. He built a fire to cook his dinner and laid out his sleeping bag for the night. Oh, phew. Tom rose early the next morning to find it had stopped snowing. He dug a hole in the ice to catch some fish for breakfast before setting out for the day. Finally, just as the sun was setting, Tom spotted a familiar tent on the horizon. Whose tent might that be? "Dad!" he shouted as he ran as fast as he could towards it. His dad was so happy to see him. He had broken his foot when he fell from a cliff and had been unable to let his rescuers know where he was. Tom took a flare from his bag and signalled for help. Bang! Look, the helicopter's coming to pick up his dad. Luckily, it was spotted by a rescue helicopter that was in the area and they were soon hoisted to safety. As they headed for home, Tom told his dad about the great adventures that he'd had on the way to rescue him. "We will call you the Great Explorer from now on," said his dad proudly when they were safely home. "I wonder where our next adventure will take us." Where do you think they might go next? Is there anywhere in the world that you would like to go and explore?